Hi everyone, welcome back to Maths with Mr. Yates, and today we're going to be covering playing cards. And we're not going to be covering them just today because I'm officially launching Card Month. Now every Friday for the next month I'm going to be covering the mathematics of cards and card games, and I'm also going to be teaching you how to play a completely new game so that you've got something that you can do with your friends. Now, let's get started. So, the humble playing card has been used for centuries as a way to play games, as well as being a collectible item, a fortune-telling device, a magic trick prop, and an improvised architectural material, as we can see on the right there. Now, the typical deck of playing cards comes from France, and it consists of 13 cards in each of 4 suits. If you're quick with your multiplication, you can tell me that that comes to 52 cards in total. Now, most decks of cards also come with 2 jokers, rounding it out to 54 cards. But most games that involve decks of cards don't actually use the jokers. And when we talk about a deck of cards, we usually consider it to just have 52 cards, not 54. And let's see what those cards look like. Here we go. So here we've got all the cards. We've got our 4 suits. We've got clubs, spades, hearts, and diamonds. And they go all the way from 1 up to 10. Then we've got the jack, the queen, and the king in each of our 4 suits. Now, interestingly, this ace represents the number 1. However, in most games, it's actually considered the highest card, meaning that the 2 right next to it is the lowest card. So, the jack, queen, and king of each suit are called face or picture cards, and it should be fairly obvious why they're called that. And each is typically drawn in the same way, regardless of who printed the cards, with some stylistic variations depending on the printer, but they usually look about the same, and they usually look roughly like this. So here we've got all our jacks, queens, and kings, and the same cards every time will be one-eyed cards. These are cards that are in profile. These are always going to be the jack of spades, the jack of hearts, and the king of diamonds. Those are the one-eyed cards. We have the suicidal king, who's always the king of hearts. He's sticking a knife into the back of his head there. We have the axe king, or the only king, who is carrying an axe, which is the king of diamonds. And the scepter queen. The scepter queen is the only one who is carrying something other than just a flower, and that is the queen of spades. Now, knowing these can be useful for pub quizzes. They often pop up in trivia contests, so it's a useful one to know. Okay, so that's that. Now, what makes cards an excellent basis for playing games is their randomness. With 52 cards in a deck, there are more ways to arrange a deck of playing cards than there are atoms in the entire planet. So I'm going to be dissecting this particular piece of information in a later video. But what this means is that effectively, every deck of cards that is properly shuffled is unique. No one else will have played with that same deck of cards ever in history. Or it's very unlikely that they would have. But what can we do with a unique shuffled deck? Well, we can play games. That's what we're here to do after all. So, in particular, you can play whist. Now, whist is a 4-player game that is the basis for many of what are called trick-taking style games. And if you know how to play whist, you can sit down and play a game of cards with almost anyone around the entire world. So I'm going to be teaching us how to play whist. Whist is a 4-player card game, and its rules form the basis of many card games. You play whist in teams. You and your partner, who sits opposite you, will be one team, and you'll be playing against the players to the left and right, who will be forming their own partnership. You win by scoring more tricks than your opponents, using skillful play and cooperating with your partner. So let's get going. Now I'm just going to adjust the screen a little bit here so we can see what's going on. There we go. Behind the scenes. There we are. This is my drawing tablet. So Let's get the screen set up there. That should be good. Okay, now we start a game of whist by shuffling a deck of 52 cards. The jokers have been removed here, and we choose a dealer. Now the dealer, let's assume it's me over this side, they will deal out cards clockwise to each player, ending with themselves. So I'm going to deal out 4 cards out like that. Now, I know it's very tempting to grab up the cards and have a look at them as they're being dealt out to you, but it is good card etiquette to leave all the cards on the table until they're all dealt, and for the dealer to deal themselves last. Now, one of the reasons we wait is because if you pick up your cards and find out you do not have the right number of cards because there's been a mistake in dealing, you can then sort it out amongst yourselves without having to deal all the cards back in together and start a new game. So it just sort of saves time and it's just polite. Now the very last card should be turned face up, and this indicates which card will be trumps in the coming round. Trumps are the most valuable cards, and this trump card goes to the dealer. So that's a diamond, which means that trumps in this game are going to be diamonds. So I'm just going to open these up. Now normally you wouldn't be able to see what everyone's cards are, but I'm just going to be playing what's called open hands, just so we can have a little bit of an idea of what's going on. Now, the way that whist works is we've already chosen our trumps. Our trumps are going to be diamonds. But the player who sits to the left of the dealer goes first, and that player will choose a card to play. And let's say they choose this card here. Got there the 9 of hearts. So they've played out the 9 of hearts. Now, the person who plays first leads the round, and whatever suit they play sets the rules for what cards all other players must play. So this player's led the 9 of hearts. That means all other players have to play hearts. They do not get a choice about it. So this player up here looks through his cards, sees they've got the king of hearts and thinks, okay, I'm going to try and win that one. So they put out the king of hearts. This player looks through their cards and they only have the 5 of hearts, so they'll put that there. This player over here actually has the ace of hearts, but they don't want to play that ace of hearts because their partner is actually winning the hand already. So what they're going to do is they're going to play a lower heart and their partner. So when we've all played one card, so each player in clockwise order plays a card of their choice. They've all played a card that is of the same suit. They've all played their hearts. And then the person who plays the highest card of the suit that was led wins the trick. So that's this player. The order of cards from lowest to highest is 2 all the way up to ace. So the king is the highest card here. This player takes this pile of cards. That's 1 point for these people on this side here, me and my partner over this side. And now this player leads the next round. So just to remember, the ace is the highest card, even though it represents a 1. So this player might think, okay, we're onto a good thing. I'm pretty sure my partner has the ace, or else one of the other players would have played it. And they go, okay, I'm going to play the 2 of hearts. Everyone else has to play hearts, so we're probably going to win this one. So this player plays the 2 of hearts, goes over to this player who has to play the 3 of hearts. This one wins it over here. And then this one over here plays the 6 of hearts. So in the second game, the player on this side has won with the ace of hearts, and so they've gotten another point. Now, normally after one player wins in a partnership wins the first trick, that player continues to collect all the tricks throughout the round. And this player starts to think, oh yeah, we're onto a pretty good thing. We played the ace and the king. That means that the queen must be a winner. So they play that out. This person plays the 8. This one over here plays the 4 because they think, yep, we're on for a winner here. Unfortunately, The player over here doesn't have any hearts anymore. Now, when you run out of cards of the same suit as the lead card, you can play whatever suit you like. And this is where it gets tricky. So before we mentioned trumps, and trumps were diamonds, if I recall. So trumps are diamonds, and a trump card always beats any other suit of card, even if that suit wasn't led. So if hearts were trumps, or in this case diamonds are trumps, but if hearts were trumps, a 2 of hearts would beat an ace of spades, but you wouldn't be able to play it unless you were out of spades. But this player is out of hearts, which is the card that's led, and they happen to have the 2 of diamonds right there. 2 of diamonds are trumps. That's the highest card in there. They've won that round. And that's a really good play because the 2 of diamonds would normally not have won anything, except they managed to win a free trick out of having that 2 of diamonds. So just as a reminder, if I was to play spades out here and this player didn't have any spades and played a 9, sorry, let's not make it a diamond. Let's say they played a 10 of clubs. So if you play a card that is not the suit that is led and is not a trump, that card is worthless. This 10 of clubs means absolutely nothing in this particular situation because it is not the same suit as that one and it is not the trumps. So that's something you've got to bear in mind when you're playing your game as well. So now, at the end of the round, after 13 tricks have been won, the pair that won the most tricks is the overall winner. Now, typically, a game is played over multiple rounds. The next player clockwise becomes the new dealer, and the game repeats until an agreed upon end is reached. So you may decide to play to best of 5 or something along those lines, or you may decide to make it so that everyone has one chance at being the dealer. Yeah, that's the basics of whist. There are lots of other nuances to whist, and part of the journey of playing the game is seeing if you can work out what they are and work out some of the little strategies that you can use when playing the game itself. Now, whist forms the basis of many different card games, such as bridge, 500, and euchre. Knowing how to play whist can help you join in on casual card games all around the world. And one of the most fun things you can do is when you're sitting down with people you don't even share a language with, and you can still play a game because you both happen to know the rules for it. So, anyway, I hope you've enjoyed that and happy gaming. Have a great day.